Good afternoon, Anne Arundel County. Good afternoon, America. This is Promoting Don't Get Fooled Again with Class. I'm your host, Anthony Bynum. The name of our production company is the Glen Burnie Players. These are very, very exciting times. Let's start off with the fact that episode 7 of Don't Get Fooled Again has been out for about a week. We're getting some pretty good views on that. There's a couple ways to see it if you haven't seen it as of yet. One, you can go into your browser and just go at Anthony Bynum 1948. It'll come right up. Or if you're right here in Anne Arundel County, you can just go to the cable access station that is known as AAC TV or Arundel TV. All three major cable providers carry the station. So Comcast is channel 99, Broad Stripe, it's channel 98, and Verizon, it's channel 38. It's playing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. It's playing on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 10 a.m. So if you get the chance, please check it out. I think you're going to enjoy it. I really, really do. Okay, so we want to start off by giving credit where credit's due. For research for this show comes from two sources this week. One, Wikipedia. The other one is poets.org. Style, coolness. When I think of these words, I can only think of one person, Walt Clyde Frazier. We're going to share the screen so that you can see a little bit about Mr. Frazier. There we go. There we go. So, yeah, that's him right there, Walt Clyde Frazier, a great, great basketball player. Great basketball player. Let's go to some of the fundamentals for Clyde. He's born March 29th, 1945, and he's still going strong. Great for him. Great for all of us. He still works doing a broadcast for the Knicks. He's just such a knowledgeable guy, such a noble person. Some of the accolades. Well, let's start off with the most important. He led the Knicks to 2 NBA championships, the only 2 the Knicks have ever had, okay? He played when the Garden was golden. So guys like Dave the Busher, Bill Dollar Bill, that is Bill Bradley, Willis Reed, Dick Barnett. He eventually played with another guy named Earl the Pearl Monroe. Phil Jackson, a young Phil Jackson played for those teams too. I guess we know him better from his days coaching though. They were coached by the great Red Holtzman. Again, this is when the Garden was golden. He was MVP. As a matter of fact, let's go back a bit. Again, he was born in Atlanta. He went to David Tobias High School. He played his college ball at Southern Illinois from 1963 to 1967. He was a first-round draft pick by the New York Knicks in the 1967 draft. He was a 5th guy drafted. So everybody knew he was going to be good. But then he was. And you know, the interesting thing about Clyde Frazier is that what I knew about Clyde all happened before I even started watching basketball. It was all by reputation. Part of that reputation was being cool. So this guy would sport fur coats, the fedora hat. I can't help but think that Julius Erving, who was one of his contemporaries, but just a little bit younger, had to look up to Walt and say, man, I want to be like that guy. You know, I want to be like that guy. So great NBA career. Again, the Knicks have only won 2 championships, and they were on his watch. He was a point guard, but he could score, dish out the ball, and play defense. As a matter of fact, in that 1973 championship, by that time they had Earl Monroe, it was his defense on the great Jerry West that was credited for turning the tide. So hats off to the great Walt Frazier. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and then we're going to move on. Very good. Now, Anne Arundel County. This is the part of the show where we always want to talk about something of consequence regarding Anne Arundel County. I stumbled on to this aspect, this story. I stumbled onto it. So a friend of mine had mentioned the history of segregated beaches in Anne Arundel County. And so I was looking up for material. as I noted, I use Wikipedia. And I found a place called Highland Beach. When I read into it, I said, that's a story. That's an incredible story. So it goes back to 1892, when Major Charles Douglas, that was his name, Major, and his wife, Laura, were turned away from a restaurant in Bay Ridge. So they had to deal with that indignity. So there was a lot of water in Arundel County. If you look in the screen behind me, what do you see? You see water, right? So there was a narrow channel. They crossed that channel. That was part of the creek for what's known as the Black Walnut Creek. And they met people, a Black family there who owned a lot of land. It was the Brashears family. And Charles was really impressed with this land, and he negotiated with them, and he was able to secure some funds from his father. His plan was to buy an interest in the property, but all he really wanted to do was to build a summer home for the family. I guess that, and kind of keep it low key. He did get the money from his father. Years later, 1922, the town is incorporated. The first Black municipality in Maryland, the first. All kinds of notable people from that time, notable African Americans visited there. People like Booker T. Washington, judges, lawyers, they all went there. Many of the original descendants of the original families are still there in Highland Beach. There's some development, but I think they try to keep it pretty low key. I think I'm gonna have to get out there, as a matter of fact. What a story. What a story. Now, unfortunately, Frederick Douglass, the great orator, the great man of his times, he never got out there. He died before the summer house could be finished. At this point, we like to address either a speech or a play. We've been hitting the poems or speeches, and we've been hitting the poems pretty hard lately. We're going to stay on that theme because it is summertime. It is summertime, and it has been hot. We've gotten a lot of rain, but it's been hot too. So this poem was written by Paul Laurence Dunbar. He was born 1872. He died 1906. I believe we've covered Mr. Dunbar before. This one is called Summer in the South. The oriole sings in the greening grove as if he were halfway waiting. The rosebuds peep from their hoods of green, timid and hesitating. The rain comes down in a torrent sweep, and the nights swell warm and piney. The garden thrives, but the tender shoots are yellow green and tiny. Then a flash of sun on a waiting hill, streams laugh with earnest, we're quiet. The sky smiles down with a dazzling blue, and the woods run mad with riot. Yes, that's Mr. Paul Laurence Dunbar, the name of that poem, Summer in the South. Well, to wrap things up, episode 7 of Don't Get Fooled Again is playing. If you get the opportunity to please check it out. So for everyone here at the Glen Burnie Players, this is Anthony Bynum. Until next time, bye-bye.